Evans, Brendan Ashcroft will be leading this line. Max McCartney and Joseph Hope. So still a strong line here. Who are the main defensive players we're looking at for Mammoth?
I'd say Liam Grimmond and Locke Murph would be probably main defensive threats.
And the pool's gone up, but that's not going to come back. So Melbourne Juggernaut are going to have excellent field position. I think it went out pretty much straight away from the pool. So maybe some early morning cobwebs there for Mammoth. Mammoth are going, I think they were going to go down in a bit of a zone play, but it looks like they're going to switch to man given the excellent field position that Melbourne Juggernaut will have. Dallas Jones picking up the disc. He's going to bring it in from the sideline. Jack Allen's going to put on the mark. And it looks like a standard vert stack in the end zone. So disc is now in with Dallas Jones. He throws it to Brendan Ashcroft, who smokes it up the line as he's done all his career, and that's a goal for Melbourne. So 1-1.
Do you think that'll be a pretty common play from Melbourne Juggernaut this weekend?
I think at the end zone we'd look for Brendan Ashcroft a lot. So knowing that team, I think your best defenders probably needs to go to Ashcroft in that situation. But easier said than done to stop him. It's probably the fastest man in Ultimate, and he's added a few tricks in terms of throwing as well. So 1-1, it's pretty good standard early on. Some good defensive plays. That pool wasn't great, I suppose, but we'll have another look at Mammoth's offensive line. So Kat Smith will take us through that one.
So we've got a couple of handlers coming up here. Number 27, Lachlan Bonney. He's been sort of evolving as a handler lately. And obviously we've got Luke Bain, number 88. So, and Ryan Garrahy and Timothy Copeland. So there's a few handlers on this line. But I think they've also got a bit of speed with Elliot Cook and Sam McGuckin.
Seems like
and number 1, Linus Muller. Oh, this is a good line.
Okay.
Yep.
Seems like a very tall team as per usual from Mammoth. A very, very tall team. Very athletic. All right, so for defense for Melbourne Juggernaut, we've got David Knight's going to pull the disc. Adam Bullman, Stu Austin's going to play both ways, obviously. Adrian Lim, Carlip Liu, just straight off out of the Philippines from the Boone Rockstar Cup. Michael Trong, who is newer player to Hoss, and Mike Jeffcott. So pool's going to go up from David Knight. Seems to be not a bad one. It's going to land a bit short of the end zone. Kat Smith will call the O for Mammoth.
Okay, so Luke Bain picking up, wants the centre, can't get it to Timocles, trying to get the off. That's it to Elliot Cook. Sam McGuckin puts it back to Timocles, who passes to Bainey. Alright, got a deep look, not coming. Tim does a nice up line, doesn't get it. Oh, ooh, very close. Sends it to Timocles. Oh, but an unfortunate drop by Garrahy.
So Stuart Austin picks it up, looks to play straight away. Michael Trong gets it over to Carlip. Carlip Liu looking, and there's a pick call there. I think Hoss, Melbourne I should say, Melbourne are going to go into a vertical stack, and they're going to have a look at putting in a defensive break. It's their third chance for the game. Liu's going to have the disc here. Carlip, one of Heads of State's best players at the recent Rockstar Cup in the Philippines last weekend. Looking for a cutter, he finds Adrian Lim on the under. Lim puts it up. Looks like it might get away from Chong, or he's going to get there. He gets there, looking to centre it and dump straight away. Carlip, travel called potentially on the throw, I think, initially. So it's going to go back to Lim. So everyone's going to have to reset after that flick huck from Lim. So now we'll have the standard delay in play as everyone tries to work out where they were in the standard conversations. Where we're here, I don't know. And the disc is going to come in probably on a reasonably low stall for Lim. Alright, disc tap back in. Lim looking to dump to Carlip straight away. Now he's looking for Jeffcott, having a bit of trouble getting a free receiver. He's going to get the under for Stuart Austin, but Stu can't reel it in. That left hand just dropping the disc, and Mammoth's going to get another chance.
Luke Bain picking up the disc from Mammoth, looking to pass it through to Timocles. Centering it back to Bainey. Gary looks pretty free. Nice inside out backhand there by Linus Muller. Oh, and puts it to Sam McGuckin for a goal.
There you go, and that's McGuckin's second goal for the game. Mammoth go 2-1 up. Heads of State had another little chance there, chance to put it in, and a couple of close ones, but Mammoth look really strong, especially they seem to be breaking the mark pretty well, and then from there they've got a really good continuation of their flow.
Yeah, it felt like a bit of a forced error up here as well, just with that Sam McGuckin marking that upline cut, and that sort of forced it a bit. Yeah,
absolutely. Really good dump defense, and that sort of put that sort of really difficult undercut, and Stu Austin couldn't reel it in. So really good pressure from Mammoth's offensive team on defense. So we're going to have another look at Melbourne's offensive line. Locko Wise has entered the game. He'll be nice and fresh, ready to go. Other than that, same line as before. So in place of Seb Barr for Melbourne Juggernaut's handlers, we'll have Max McCartney's handled for Great Britain before at World Games. And Joe Hopp's an up-and-coming handler that Barr's been working with a lot at trainings. So he'll get a chance to fill that spot. And also Dallas Jones, who's played for the Australia in the AOUC team in 2015. So the pull goes up from Mammoth. Might be a brick this time, but at least it's not straight out as the last one was. So Jones is going to call a brick. He's going to walk it up. Heads of State are going to play a side stack, and Mammoth just look to be in man. All right, so Dallas Jones walking up to the brick mark. Ashcroft out of the stack initially. Seems to be a lot of cutters early. Locko Wise gets the under, fakes the backhand huck, swings to Dallas Jones. Jones now looking downfield, flicks nicely to Ashcroft on the sideline. Ashcroft looking to bounce back to the middle. Gets the flick off. Good dump defense from Mammoth though. Hope has it. Nice little under to Max McCartney. Max McCartney, a left-hander, looking to dump now. It's a bit cluttered here. Good dump defense again. And there's a call downfield, I think, a few seconds ago. Mammoth playing really good dump defense here. So when the stall count gets a little bit high, Melbourne have had a bit of trouble moving the disc. Everyone looks to have reset. And McCartney's going to have, just working out, it's going to come in on 4.
Hey, Simsy, win the line, bud. Simsy, win the line.
McCartney looking, gets it off to Ashcroft up the line. Ashcroft goes for Jacobs, finds him as well. That's a goal. Really good defence there though from Mammoth. I think they forced a couple of really tough throws, and Melbourne just seemed to sort of jam it up the line basically, so couldn't really get any break shots off cut.
Yeah, like I think both Melbourne's 2 goals have been jamming it into that right-hand corner. So maybe that's something they've been working on.
Yeah, I think Melbourne are relying on their speed of their players to get those open unders, but Mammoth no doubt will make a bit of a defensive adjustment to that. But yeah, when that stall count seems to get pretty high, Mammoth have put a lot of pressure on that dump set for Hoss. But 2-2, so pretty good game early on. All the offences have held so far. For defence for Melbourne Juggernaut, we have David Knight with the pull again. James Evans is defensive line caller, probably defensive captain in place of Andrew Moroney, who's also at the ex-teammate's wedding this weekend. So James Evans going to call the line. Adrian Lim, Mike Jeffcott, Michael Trong on again. S.I. Selvin is a guy from one of the Div 2 teams for Hoss, and he's going to have a run this weekend with a few guys out. And Adam Bullman to round out that defensive line. Kat Smith will have the O for Mammoth.
So for the O-line, we've got Seb Brown, Joel Cook, Luke Bain, Lachlan Bonney, Linus Muller, Sam McGuckin, and Marcus Leask. So pretty good line.
Ashcroft and McNaughton just having a bit of a laugh about how quick he is on the sideline.
That's awesome, man.
All right, pull's going up.
Go, Jugger! Come on, Mikey!
Oh, nice little soccer manoeuvre there from Bain, who's gone downfield for the point.
Seb Brown picks it up, looks to put it deep, doesn't do it. Upline cut by Linus, but it looks a bit messy. Luke Bain's got the disc again, puts it to Lockbon. He puts it back to Marcus Leakes, to Bainey. Looking for Seb. Nice little inside out shot there. Seb puts it deep to Sam McGuckin. That's a goal.
McGuckin again, so
Yeah,
that's three
3 from
early
3.
goals from McGuckin. Melbourne Juggernaut going to have to make the adjustment there, I think. But again, Mammoth just getting that initial sort of break and continuation, and that gets them a lot of yards and opens the whole field up for them.
Yeah, and I think that's the second time Luke Bain has managed to get that little inside out, chippy little shot through, and it just seems to open up that deep a little bit more, which is really good to see.
So, 3-2 to Mammoth. Both offences looking pretty safe with the disc. And we're going to see Melbourne Juggernauts offense again. So we'll have Jones, McCartney, Jacobs, Ash Evans, Ashcroft, Lachlan Wise, and that'll be Hope to round out the line there. We'll have to see if they go with the side sec again. Mammoth put some really good pressure on them in their last offensive point with the dump set, and they'll be looking to do that again. So my heads of state team still watching the other boys on, still waiting for I-Beam to arrive from the airport. They've had a bit of trouble with their early morning flight, so we might have a forced buy, if you like, which isn't too bad. But hoping the I-Beam boys get here soon for a run. Pool's going to go up soon. Lachlan Wise with his hand in the air. All right, pool's going to go up from Mammoth. Timocles pulls it nicely. That one lands in. Jones going to receive the disc, centering it to Hope. Looks like a bit of a sidestep again from Haas. Hope boosts it to the end zone. Jacobs well in space. Jacobs takes it just outside the end zone, looking for Ashcroft. That's going to be too low on the throw there. He had Ashcroft free, but Jacobs just made the error with that flick. And Mammoth are going to get their first chance on defense to put a break in and go 4-2 up in this game. Copeland's going to pick up the disc here. McCartney playing on him. Looks like a flick force from Jugger. And a standard vertical in the middle of the field for Mammoth.
All right, Timocles has got the disc centres to J-Mac. Dumps back to Timocles.
Nice throw.
That's it by Elliot Cook. Oh, Lockbon. He's got the disc, wants to centre it back to Elliot Cook. Puts it to J-Mac. J-Mac's looking deep, gets it to Joel Cook, the younger brother of Elliot Cook. Centres J-Mac to Linus Muller, Ryan Garahy. Linus Muller saves it a bit. Puts it deep.
Oh, he's well open, but I don't think he's going to get there.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a nice look, but just a little bit too bloaty at the end, I think.
Really looks like good offense from Mammoth there on the turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, both teams have had a shot at the end zone at this point that's been relatively open and just made an error with the throw. So Melbourne Juggernaut, somewhat luckily, are going to get the disc back here and have another chance to hold their offense and make this game a 3-1. Hope's going to pick up the disc here and walk it up to the front of the end zone. Juggernaut have switched now to a horror look with Jones out. Looks like there's 5 in the horror here, so just 2 handlers out. Hope brings it in. Nice little inside flick break to Jacobs in lots of space. He continues on to Locko Wise. Locko is fouled on the throw there. Locko Wise, perhaps the best player in Australia at drawing fouls on the throw. And he's drawn another one there, so he's going to get the disc back. No contest there by the looks of it. McCartney in probably 5 meters of space under for the initial one, and he's pointing there as well, so we'll see if the disc goes there. Wise, for some reason, scoobers it to McCartney. McCartney gets it, dishes to Hope. Hope boosts the flick again. It's Ash Evans versus Linus. Linus is going to get the D there. Is there a call? No, there isn't. Or there is. Ash is going to call the foul. They're going to have a chat about it. Looks like it might be a contested one. Linus is just demonstrating on the instant replay how he went up and didn't foul him. Ash looks like he's disagreeing, and it's going to go back. So it's going to be a contested foul there. What did you think, Kat? Look like a clean play, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, isn't it? Especially when it's happening to you one-on-one out there, when you don't have that perspective like we do.
Yeah, no, I suppose only the two players really know what happened there. So probably not a bad result there. Contested call. They're still having a bit of discussion. Doesn't look like it's in bad spirit or anything like that.
Well, he hasn't broken out into German yet, so it's probably okay.
It looks like it's okay. It's all good. If this comes back in, Hope's going to get it back again. Nice little up line from McCartney. Ashcroft's poached. McCartney hits him into the centre there. And Ashcroft continues on to Jones, who has called a foul, I think, or a strip perhaps. And Timocles is not going to contest that one. So Jones is going to be probably, I'd say, 5 metres out of the end zone here. I think you'll see Juggernaut collapse into a vert stack for this one. And you might see McCartney stay back and handle. So Jones, disc coming in. He's looking downfield now. He's looking for the dump. There was a pick called, though, a few seconds ago. Jones decides to throw the disc anyway, but he's going to have to get that one back. So Melbourne have collapsed into that vertical here. And disc comes back in. Jones looking to get the disc off. Goes the hammer to the end zone. It's up there, and it's D'd by Mammoth. Really good defensive play there. I think that was Ryan
Garahy.
Ryan Garahy there. Nice, really good play from him.
I saw the hat just zooming past.
Just zooming past for the defence. All right, so Mammoth.
Okay, Mammoth, we got J-Mac in the middle, looking for maybe deep. Yep, puts it to Elliot Cook.
Plenty of space here for both the boys. They can raffle it.
Oh,
I think
no.
they've almost D'd each other.
That was
then.
a brother versus brother.
Oh, no. That could be a fight at home tonight about that one.
I think so.
Juggernaut luckily going to get the disc back. Dallas puts it up. Loco Wise wants to get there. He's not going to.
Ooh, what a couple of exciting points there.
Yeah, I think it's ramped up a notch this one. But that throw from Jones too far out in front of Wise. And J-Mac's going to get the disc back there. Yeah, Mammoth really probably should have had that one down in the end zone, but just a little bit of confusion as to who was the one that was going to catch that one.
All right, Timocles cutting from the back of the stack to a scuba from J-Mac. Looks to centre it back to J-Mac. Surveying his options. Here we go, Elliot Cook. Okay, a little bit of an unfortunate drop there from Elliot Cook.
And Hope picks the disc up here. And Jacobs was just on the dead run, I guess, from defence. Plenty of space up the line. He dishes to Ashcroft. Ashcroft looking end zone. Fakes the flick up the line. Wants Hope. Gets him now up the line for the goal. Juggernaut very happy with that one, but Mammoth was very close there to getting the first break of the game. And I think their defensive pressure has really been good in this game.
I agree. I think there's just a couple of unfortunate drops with there from Mammoth.
Yeah. And I think it's not going to take much for one of these points to go in for Mammoth or for Juggernaut as well. Both teams are creating some good defensive pressure here. And I think it'll be really crucial, Kat, in this game who gets that first defensive break, and that could set up a little bit of a run for that team.
And I think this is also the very first game of the first weekend, so I think both teams are still trying to figure out how they're going to approach the other team's defense and offense. So still a bit of figuring out happening, I think, here. Yeah,
no, absolutely. So I suppose, yeah, first matchup for these teams. Juggernaut looking a little bit different than they have for or ever now, I suppose, with the even split at Div 1. So it's a different look for Heads of State. So it'll be different for them to work out, but also different for the other teams approaching them and how they're going to play.
So how many teams does Hoss actually have, women's and men's?
That's a great question. We've got 4 men's teams and 2
teams.
women's teams.
Wow, okay.
So this weekend we have 5 teams competing, so there's 3 men's teams competing, and the two women's teams are competing as well. So yeah, we're up to 6 teams, which is really exciting for the club. So numbers are through the roof. So no, it's been really, really good. So yeah, no, good to see the club growing.
So how many teams will be at Nationals and then Div 2 Nationals?
So there'll be 2 men's teams at Div 1 Nationals and 1 women's team. And then all the other teams will be going to Div 2, Div 2 Nats. So the 1 women's team and the 2 other male teams.
Jack Allen, a.k.a. Goose, picking up the disc. 2 centres to Dan Gladish. Liam Grimmond thinks about the deep. Decides not to, puts it back to Jack Allen, who gets it off to Lockmurph. Puts it back to Liam. Working on the sideline here, Queensland. Centres it, looks for it again. Bit of a nice give go. Oh, puts it. Oh, nice.
Nice shot there. Mammoth look pretty comfortable on that point. They're going to go 4-3 up there. Good goal there from the Mammoth O-line. They looked a little bit different there, Kat. They sort of pretty much just jammed it up the line on that point, but they were getting open, so they're just taking what Melbourne were giving them, I suppose. Yeah,
like I think in that case, Liam and Jack Allen kind of took over a little bit as the handlers for that particular line, so we saw a different type of offense and handler movement happening, different to like the Luke Bain and the Ryan Garrahy one. So
it looks, obviously, this is like you said, it's the first tournament, early days, but it looks like Mammoth are quite happy to sub a lot of players through their offensive line, and they don't sort of have the same 7 or 8.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact numbers, but I think Mammoth have taken quite a big team this year, so just to raise experience and have a lot of options so you can cycle through it at like quite a high intensity.
So Mammoth 4-3 up. We're on serve still. It's a nice sunny day here in, well, I would say Melbourne, but it's basically the middle of nowhere in a suburb called Epping. So yet again, for some reason, we've had a tournament out in the middle of nowhere, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Offensive line, good work, Goose. Well done, mate. Offensive line here for Heads of State, same sort of line we've had all game. Ashcroft, Evans, Jacobs, Hope, McCartney, Wise and Jones. So it seems to be, I suppose, a little bit of a different philosophy from Mammoth. It seems to be the same 7. Perhaps Stu Austin comes into that line. But yeah, there's no right or wrong, I suppose, in Frisbee Cat. It's just the way teams run.
Yeah, and just looking at how people are evolving with their skills and make it into a team.
So Mammoth created quite a bit of pressure in the last couple of defensive points, and they've been really close to putting one in. So the pull goes up. I think that's going to sit just in. So they've sort of fixed up the issues with the pull. Jones catches it, centres it to Hope. McCartney gets the first under here, and we've got a bit of a side stack by the looks of it. Ashcroft gets an under using his pace, looking to bounce back into the middle. Hope goes up line, he's not going to get open. Ashcroft still looking, and he gets that inside flick off to McCartney. McCartney goes with the hammer. Hope's going to just track it in with the one hand. I don't know about the option or the execution, but it's going to come off. The goal is McCartney to Hope. Can't argue with that one. 4-4.
Oh, always love a hammer.
The crowd loves a hammer. God loves a hammer. Not that I want to get too religious on here, otherwise I'll get in trouble again. But I was about to say that was probably the most solid offensive point from Melbourne Juggernaut. They just looked really, really good. Hammer may be a little bit questionable, Kat, but again, can we argue with that? Not really. It's a goal.
And there's not much wind here this morning.
No.
So
no, it's a really, really
a
good morning.
little bit easier.
Yeah, I guess the hammer's a little bit easier in these sort of conditions, but no, it's a really good morning for Frisbee. It's not too hot, but the sun is out. We're on the AstroTurf fields here out at Epping. Haven't played on them yet myself, but they seem to be okay. Hopefully it doesn't get too much hotter. As we know, AstroTurf tends to burn the feet a little bit if it gets too hot.
Just don't wear black socks.
Yeah, that's, well, I've made that mistake already.
Oh, not the ellipsis socks.
Yeah, I got the ellipsis socks on, so shout out to the missus who's playing cricket today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's got a cricket semi, so she's told ellipsis, you'll have to do it without me and I'll just come in for the glory tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Standard Lauren. But yeah, shout out to her. Hopefully she gets a win there in the women's cricket. Anyway, that'll be a fine for me to pay at training for sure for mentioning the missus on the live feed. Melbourne Juggernaut going to go with the defensive look.
Looks like it's heading out. Yes,
just out.
Just out.
Joe Hope's just asked me for his stats here. I think a couple turns, Joe. 0 turns. Okay. Probably a lucky one where Ash got D'd. Okay, yep, fair enough. Still contested though, wasn't it? Yeah, right. Anyway, no, Joe's been very good, so good on you, Joe.
All right, here we go. J-Mac puts it deep. Quite a flat backhand, but Liam Grimond might just get there.
Oh, what a
wow.
grab. Fantastic
Liam's
grab.
flying everywhere, Liam Grimond, and then puts it to Lachlan Murphy.
Wow.
That's nice. That's a bit of shake and bake from Queensland, I think.
Yeah, that's fantastic throw from McNaughton. Bullman almost got there.
Yeah, it was quite a low release,
Yeah.
I thought.
Sort of low in the air, and Bullman and Grimmer seem to be very similar players. Legs and arms going everywhere, and a lot of height and a lot of athleticism. But Bullman couldn't quite get to that one. Almost made the play there. Locko Wise was in with the sniff, but a really good grab there from Grimmer, and he puts in the easy goal. And that's going to be 5-4 to Mammoth. So a couple of quick offensive points for both teams. The old two-pass offense is always good. Don't have much chance to turn it over if you're only passing it twice. So yeah, Mammoth looked pretty good there. Tim McLeod is going to go with the pull again here for Mammoth. After the first two pulls, they've been really good and been sort of forcing Hoss, I guess, quite deep and to the side. And Juggernaut are going to go with largely the same offensive line, but they've put Lim over. And that'll be, I think, in place of Trong. So Lim's come over onto the offensive line for this point. Very, very fast Adrian Lim, former Blue Bottles player, and a really, really good up-and-coming cutter for Heads of State. All right, Kat, I'm going to have to leave you there because the IBM boys are on, so I'm going to have to go play, but good luck to both teams.
Okay, we've got Brendan Ashcroft who puts it deep to number 31. Which is Ash Evans.
Alrighty, so I'm going to have to go play against IBeam, who have finally arrived, but it's 5-all, so I'm leaving in a pretty good game at the moment. Kat Smith, always a pleasure. Thanks for commentating with me.
Thanks,
I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Matt Hill, aka Timmel, who's just sorting out some kind of shelter at the moment, but he's going to come over and call the game. Hopefully, thanks for all the fans. Hopefully I'll see you guys a bit later on in the tournament when I get a bit of time.
Oh dear, my team is actually running off as well, so I'm going to have to leave. But Timmel will be looking after the youth kids, so bye.
Push! Stu! Bring in! So 1, 2, 3. Up! Nice, Nick! Up! Do it, Stu! Come on, Stu! Yeah, go work deep, Not going deep, Up!
Hello Australia and the world, this is Matt Hill, SMO Tournament Director. Just going to jump on the commentary for a second. Hopefully we'll find some new commentators soon. Mammoth got the disc at the moment. Just up the line there to John McNaughton. Hand block there from Carlip, number 21 from Melbourne Juggernaut. Now, apologies if we're having some issues on the stream. We are attempting to shift to YouTube at the moment. We have been streaming on Facebook. Ideally, we'll be going on both, but just having some teething issues as we set up this morning, which was probably to be expected. leave some comments what you thought of Kat Smith and Tony Castriano's commentary this morning. Just had a throwaway there, bit of miscommunication on the field, and again from Melbourne Juggernauts. So maybe early season, just some communication errors potentially. Okay, John picks it up on the sideline. They've gone straight back to John on the sideline. No dump. We've just thrown it out into space. We're in the centre of the field now. Sorry, I'm not aware of all the names for Mammoth. I think that was Dan Gladish. We're back to John now. Liam Grimman there just puts it through for a goal. And I've just been told that makes it 6-5 to Mammoth. It's got a slight breeze here today, but otherwise conditions are pretty good. There's going to be a few sunburned people here, I think, not used to the Melbourne sun, where it can be cloud cover all day and still burn you. So thanks for joining us. We will have multiple cameras set up once we get all the glitches out of the system. And so we will have one from each end zone. One, obviously the aerial view, the bird's eye view camera set up at the moment. And it's all brought to you by Yukon Discs. So thanks for their sponsorship for the tournament and being able to make this live stream possible. Now, I'm not sure, having not seen the game so far, what it's been like. But if there have been any spectacular plays, they will be contenders for the Yukon Disc Play of the Day. So we'll have hopefully collected lots of highlights throughout the day. We'll put them together tonight and have a highlight play of the day. There's a brick pulled by Mammoth there, John McNaughton, I think, going quite a way out to the side. So Melbourne Juggernaut will bring that in from a brick. There it is, just been signalled there by Max McCartney.
Okay, let's go, team plan, guys.
Okay, not sure what happened there. Maybe it was not checked in yet. Alright, just a scuba over there. Mammoth has definitely set up a zone. Heads of state are just swinging it side to side at the moment. Lockie Wise getting involved as a popper now. Content just to swing it back and forth. This is Hop with the disc at the moment. Moved it across to McCartney. Okay, zone doing a really good job here at holding them up. Hammer from McCartney across to Jones. Wise has a disc in the middle. Fakes a big hack. Just moves it back to Hop. So great containment by Mammoth at the moment. Well, we've found a gap there. Hop to Ashcroft. And Mammoth has set back up. Wise with the disc, looking around everywhere. Who's he going to throw to? Oh, big outside in, round to Hop. Ashcroft with the disc in the middle now. Scuba over the top to McCartney. Out wide to Wise, close to the end zone now. Just move the disc back into the middle of the field. And it looks like Mammoth have gone to man defense now. That was Carlip to Ashcroft. Ashcroft to Evans for a goal. 6-all. And a timeout called there by Melbourne Juggernaut.
Risky prisoners. Let's go, lads. Come on. Hey, let's get loud. Hey, let's get really fucking loud. Let's go hug dude.
Okay, we're back in after the timeout. Melbourne Juggernaut have pulled. And they're just in a man defence. Now they're set up with a horizontal. Just moved around the handles at the moment, haven't moved it forwards, actually moved it backwards so far. But not looking stressed, happy to move it around. Forced on the sideline. Oh, we've had a drop there. Unfortunate. Unlucky for him, I'm not sure who that was. Wise picking up the disc. We've got a vertical stack in the end zone. Knight just collects the dump there, and there's a pick called, so staying with Knight.
Working boys! Working boys! Come on, Gary! Come on, Gary! Good luck, good luck.
All right, just back in play. Knight's looking to dump, back to Wise. Wise with the lefty, over to McCartney. McCartney just in short to Ashcroft, and in around backhand for a goal there called by Austin. That's a break for Melbourne Juggernaut. 7-5 to Melbourne Juggernaut. 7-6, my apologies, 7-6.
Let's go, White Squad! Yeah, Mammoth! Let's get this break back. Just let it be done. But then it's No, but just in January. Let's go, defense! Just observe.
All right, so puller's gone up from Melbourne Juggernaut. Mammoth with the disc. Slight breeze going towards Mammoth at the moment, so they're kind of throwing into a slight breeze. A thrower's breeze, as we like to call it. John McNaughton with the disc at the moment, and just like to introduce Evan to the commentary team. Welcome, Evan.
G'day, Matt.
Evan is here filming for the weekend, but whilst we've only got the one camera set up, he's going to jump behind the mic. So yeah, welcome, Evan from Melbourne.
Good to be here.
So we've just got Mammoth moving the disc around at the moment. Heads Melbourne Juggernaut just playing man defense, and there's been a foul called. They're just having a friendly banter there. We've got Liam Grimmond with the disc. Just looking around.
Backhand force there by Juggernaut. Up the line cut.
John McNaughton looking around for options. Big swing around back to Liam Grimmond. Looking around. Nice patience here, although he's gone for that fake scuba. John's got the disc. James Evans marking him. Lucky wise on Liam Grimmond.
Up the line cut there. Some quick give go.
And we're in according to the sideline. Can Mammoth continue this patient offense and just find a hole? Well, there's a breakthrough out to John. A bit further than he wanted, but it worked out all right in the end. Oh wait, looks like we're coming back. So, travel called on Liam Grimmond by Lucky Wise. So it's coming back, just that throw that went out wide to John McNaughton there. This should give Mammoth a chance to potentially set up, maybe call a play. We'll see what happens.
Let's go, Jugger!
So after this point, we're going to have to head off and do some tournament director duties, leave you in the capable hands of Evan. Well, we'll see if they're capable, we'll see. I have confidence.
Let's see how we go.
There's nothing to say that my hands were capable to start with. All right, so here we go. James Evans has just dived into the back of John McNaughton, but he's brushed it off. And disc with Stuart Jinks at the moment. He's thrown it up the line. Very happy Liam Grimmond by the looks of it for the goal, which makes it 7-all now, I believe. So nice tight game here to start with. All right, I'm going to sign out. Hopefully the stream's up. If it's not, it will be soon. Thanks for joining us. I'm out. Good luck, Evan.
Thank you, Matt. Excellent. Next point for half. Let's see how we go here. We've got Juggernaut back on the O-line here, with Mammoth on the defense. So same O-line as has been played for the whole game so far with Juggernaut. Got Ash Evans, Dallas over there, bit of bops. Max McCartney, Sam Jacobs, Brendan Ashcroft, and Lachlan Wise. And then we've got Mammoth lined up there on the defense, getting ready for the pull. Looks like the pool's just about to go up. We've got a handoff Juggernaut. Here we go. Big inside out pull there. Quick pass up to Joseph Hop. And that's a low shot by Joseph, but big layout by Lachlan Wise. And a huge grab by Ash Evans there. Quick consolidation by Juggernaut there. And looks like that's possibly half time. Half time there, so I'll just leave you for one moment. Half time. Looks like it's solid 8-7, so we've definitely got a tight game here.
Heads up, boys. Hey, that's one half down. Hell yeah, do one more. You go, lads.
What a deal! it's fine. We're close to this. Are you doing it for you?
Welcome back, everybody, to Melbourne Juggernaut versus Mammoth from Queensland. We're going to have Juggernaut starting with the, on offense, and Mammoth starting on D. Once again, this live stream is brought to you by Yukon Discs, so make sure we get around them. Currently the scores are 8-7, with Juggernaut getting one break going into half, starting on O. On the Juggernaut line we have, once again, Samuel Jacobs, Dallas Jones, Lachlan Wise, Ash Evans, Joseph Hoppy, Max McCartney, and Brendan Ashcroft. And we have Mammoth setting up on D. Unfortunately, I don't know many of their names. Their backs are turned to me, so I cannot look at my cheat sheet for their numbers. And the pull comes up from Mammoth. Going to land out the center of the disc, received by Lockie Wise. Quick give go there. Lockie Wise puts up the disc to Max McCartney. Looks like it's floating in the end zone. And that's a huge D there. Huge D there by Mammoth. Excitement from the sideline here. Disc is coming up. Lockie Wise with a big mark. Linus with the disc. Over top, Ash Evans picks it up with a give go. And that's a high backhand to Ashcroft, with Juggernaut consolidating on their O point there. Mammoth did get a good D, so that's good signs for them there. They'll be happy about that.
That was a big D, Sam. That was huge. Nice, Sammy.
So that puts the scores to 9-7 there, with Juggernaut on the D line and Mammoth on the O. I'm going to be introducing my new co-commentator here, Mr. Stefan Van Boxtel from Melbourne, coach of one of the teams at Heads of State who are currently not playing this tournament here. Hello, Stefan.
Hey, Ev. Yeah, thank you. It's a great game to jump on. We've seen pretty haphazard first half, and I'm hoping to see something settle down second half, see some plays, see some set plays come off, some clean disc.
Definitely looking. I think Mammoth are definitely going to want something a bit more clinical here, as they just swing the disc from left to right at the moment.
So what you're seeing is a zone on. They've thrown a transition before. Looks like they're holding that zone. Big cross hammer to Grimmond, who's looking across field, but he's got the easy forehand into the end zone. Pretty clinical offense. We've seen that all game from Mammoth. They're really putting away their O lines and not really giving the Hoss a shot at it.
I think that's exactly what Mammoth wanted here, coming out, and I'm sure they're going to be putting on a pretty big D line here and try and get the break. Puts the scores at 8-9 with Mammoth down just by 1 point.
So coming to the O-line, we've got a pretty standard Juggernaut O-line. We've been seeing it all game. You got Jones, you got Sam Hope, Ash Evans, Lockie Wise, Maxie McCartney, and Brenton Ashcroft.
Pretty solid here. We've been seeing Wise and Hoppy and Jones behind the disc a lot here. But of course, they've got a bit of versatility with their handlers. Yeah,
I'd say that's the strength of the line. They're quite versatile, and we're seeing big throws going up from a few different players today.
Now we have the hand up here by Mammoth, so it looks like the pull's about to go, and Juggernaut's got their hand up conversely too. Pull coming up now. And we see Juggernaut just moving the disc slowly up the field. A few quick passes and Hoppy with the disc. Swings at center to Wise. Nice inside out, towing the line there by Evans. We have an end zone shot. Just out there. So Mammoth managed to force a turnover here. We have Mammoth picking up the disc. It's going to be just on the front corner of the end zone. And we have a, looks like it could possibly be a cup, small cup. No, it looks like Juggernaut are going to be playing man defense. And it's halfway down the field actually for Mammoth. It went straight out and didn't actually come back in. We've got a backhand force, break swing. Exactly what Mammoth is going to be looking for. A lot, swinging the disc back and forth. Quick give goes, and the disc comes around. Looks like we've got a pick call there.
So we see Timicles doing what he does best, quick foot movement. He's looking for that break throw first up. Engaging the dump, and it is a crowded dump zone there, but we've got the open throw. Juggernaut defense is leaving those handlers post off quite open, and Mammoth's taking advantage of that. Looking down the line, and he's got to look, and that's a break to Mammoth.
What a clinical defense line that was there. One turn and they get to consolidate. We have the scores set at 9-all, and this has turned into quite the matchup, Stephen.
Well, yeah, we're seeing both teams come out well after second, but it looks like Mammoth's just picked up the pace a little bit. It's really up to Juggernaut to respond now. They've got plenty of time. It's 9-all, and it's just really going to be great to see whether they respond and they can, if they bring on the same line.
Mammoth have changed their D line, put on their other line there. So let's see if they can match their other D line, and we look forward to seeing what they pull out. Juggernaut on the other side has kept the same line. Mammoth standing ready, just waiting for the hand from Juggernaut there. And we got two hands up. Disc coming in from Mammoth here. It's a nice big pull, giving them some time to get in. Oh, just a break.
All right, so we see Hoppy picking up the disc. He's going to bring it into the brick mark, the central mark. We've got Jones has his dump, and it looks like a horror downfield. Jones is taking advantage of a poach and looking to move downfield. Short throw to Wise. Hoppy has the disc centrally to McCartney on the left wing. Oh, that is contact made on the defence and a foul call. No contest. Wise bringing the disc in. Big around flick. No look. That was risky and it did not come off. Grimond picks up the disc and has a look to the end zone. No go on the first look. Dumps back to Grimond now. Looks to the end zone.
And that's huge for Mammoth there, Stefan.
That around forehand really costly. That's to a really risky spot on the field, and Mammoth's not giving up their opportunities. They saw that. It's a skill error, and the Juggernaut's been made to pay for that.
That's exactly what Mammoth are looking for. That's 2 breaks there by Mammoth. Looking to possibly follow this up again with another break. We'll see if Juggernaut changes anything or keeps the same O-line here. Mammoth has gone back to their D-line from 2 points ago, the D-line that got the first break of the half. And it looks like Juggernaut, is keeping the same O-line that they've had for the past 2 points. Good decision, continuity, and I'm sure they've got many connections on that line too.
Yeah, it's a really big decision you got to make when you've 2 breaks have been made. Do you go back to the same line? Do you go back to the well and go again? Or do you get some fresh legs, get a fresh look on? It's a decision to be made. And we've got a captaincy, and those kind of decisions come from people like Brendan Ashcroft and Stu Austin this weekend.
Certainly, and it is a huge benefit to Mammoth there, being able to actually change the lines and alternate the D lines over those breaks, because of course Mammoth get to get their fresh legs onto each point, and hopefully make Juggernaut work a little bit harder. We see Evans with the disc, swings it slightly central to Dallas, off to Ashcroft, and off straight into the end zone to Ashcroft. Looks like a score there, so Juggernaut quickly replaying.
Yeah, just saw some determination from that O-line there. They were not going to get broken again. They just decided they were going to go. As a really attacking offensive play, and they really would control those whole throws. That hammer from, or was it 2 or from McCartney, really opened up the field, and Ashcroft, when he gets his guns going, he just flies through that centre and is a weapon to be used.
As they say, Stefan, fastest man in Ultimate.
Fastest man in Ultimate, absolutely. So we're seeing Juggernaut D-line here. Austin, Knight, Bullman, Trong, Carlip, Lim, and Jeff Cott. So that's an energy line, big D-line, led by DK.
And there on Mammoth again, we do have John McNaughton calling the line, it appears. Back to their O-line, of course, with their clinical plays that we've seen so far. They'll be looking just to be clean and smooth on this offense, looking to consolidate what they've been doing so far throughout the game, and just get 1 point back up against Jugger.
Norton's a key player here for Mammoth, key player for Australia at the Oceanic Championships last year. Unfortunately had to leave halfway through the final. And I really think that team struggled without him there for a few points, regaining their confidence. He's a player who can control the speed, has every throw in the game.
Here we go, man defense forcing flick, Juggernaut, disc goes up with Bullman. And we have a score there by Lachlan Murphy. Murphy with a huge score.
No score, turnover for Bullman. And big D, it was a lot of body, incidental contact there, but no call made. DK picks up the disc, he's bringing it to the centre, as calm as anything. He's looking for that open throw first up and swings it across to Austin. He's through to Trong in the centre, looking downfield. threading the needle, tight gaps. Bullman now looking for his dump, trying to get it off that line. They're really crammed in here, but big shot up to Trong. He's got a big job here. Second efforts just didn't pay off. So close. It was really clever from him to watch the disc the whole way through. Didn't give up on that disc after the defender thought he had it in the bag after the first touch. It's the beauty of Ultimate. We play with this with a plastic disc that does not act like a ball, so you really got to keep your eye on it. So John McNaughton picking up the disc, surveying the field. Adrian Lim has a big job there on the mark for a straight up around to a backhand to Grimmond. Back to McNaughton in centre field. Big gainer there, 30 metres in the centre of the field. Looking for the dump. McNaughton just controlling the play, just moving behind the disc there. Quite well. Lim still keeping that straight on force. Then open downfield throw. There's been a call made. Pick call, I believe. I guess the argument is whether Jeffcott had a play on the disc. Obviously, he believes he does. They had a conversation about it. It's a good spirit. Disc has been returned. All right, Dishy over the top to McNaughton. Goes big. Grimmond in the end zone. And he takes a big grab over Bullman in the end zone. Looked confident there, gave himself room to jump, and comes down with the disc.
Watching that wonderful huck again, going deep. Huge grab there, huge D, but wonderful work to pull down that throw there. By Grimmond, I believe it was. Yeah, Liam Grimmond pulling that disc down. We've got Mammoth on D this time with their huge D lines that have had great success over the last few points. And Juggernaut on the O, with the same lines as they've had so far. Mammoth are going to come out now and try and really get a big one back. Try and push forward what's been a very tight game. Every point very important, of course, to both teams here. We've got a hand up by Mammoth and a hand up by Juggernaut. Pull coming in. Great pull, getting picked up by Hop here. Till Wise. Wise looks to get the disc around to Hop again. Really, we've got a count on the sideline. Disc goes up by Hop. Huge to Ash Evans. Evans finishing it nicely.
Yeah, and we saw Mammoth throw looks like a transition zone on that play. Pretty loose zone, and Juggernaut really took advantage of that with the space, moved up the field, and somehow Ash Evans so open downfield.
Very open downfield.
Running onto the disc, he'd be very happy with that.
The disadvantage of that loose zone, I would say, would be that they gave Joseph Hop a huge backhand, which is one of his favourite throws. I would say his favourite throw.
Known at with Colossus last year on their run to Div 1 Nats as the Soot King. He loves that backhand. Would throw it 9 times out of 10. Very happy with it himself, and he will tell you about it. No worries about that.
He definitely knows it.
So D-line for Juggernaut, we are seeing crossover with Ashcroft, Wise, and McCartney coming to, and Evans joining that D-line. They're looking for a big point here. Looks like they're pretty confident. send up from Mammoth.
And that's the pull up there by Lockie Wise.
Quick movement off the receive of the pull, and looks like a sideline stack there. Disc is moved to the centre, but there's a break to the break side, and that's received. That's a very clinical offense from them, just taking advantage of what the defence gave them there. And a couple of looser marks, and they've taken advantage of the around throws to the break space. Lots of space to run onto, and no worries at all. So the O-line players coming across to D did not work in that case. It'll be interesting to see what they go this time, whether those players roll over.
Definitely.
On the O-line.
Let's go, boys!
It is okay. It's the first game of the day, so they can mix it up a fair bit and not have to worry so much about how the legs are going. They've definitely got good tournament fitness. This being 2 weekends after Southern Regionals, where this Juggernaut team did manage to take away first place there. Not sure how Mammoth went up north.
Yeah, it's a really interesting weekend for Juggernaut. We're missing a couple of key players. A player like Seb Barr just can, make that huge difference to that O-line, and his tactical and calm mind on the field is really advantageous. So they've got a big job to adapt to that this weekend. And it's the first game of the weekend, and it's going to take time to do those kind of things.
It absolutely will, Stefan. Here we go. Mammoth on D, Jugger on O. Mammoth will definitely, again, be looking to get some big Ds here, but we'll see what they did. They did a transition last point, giving a bit of space, so let's see what they, if they change anything or do the same. We have the pull coming up here. Nice outside in. Getting picked up by Lockie Wise to Hop. Hop centers the disc to Wise again. Wise, big fake there. To Jones. Ashcroft to McCartney. Nice little reset to Wise. Wise swings the disc to Hop. On the outside there. Good movement upfield. Really tight D here. Definitely a change to far tighter D. Huge hammer by Wise. Ashcroft pulling it down, and that is important for Juggernaut there. Very important by Jugger. Consolidating their O-line here. We definitely saw Mammoth come in with a far tighter D-line there, as compared to the game beforehand. And coming back in with Mammoth on O this time. Let's see if Jugger decide to mix up their D-line at all. It looks like they've kept to their more traditional D-line that they've been playing so far. Not mixing in any of the O-line players here. And Stefan, what are we looking at here with Mammoth?
I'd love to tell you. Still working on names myself. But it looks like a little bit of a line with a few more squad players than they've played so far. Mammoth's willing to give their squad players a really good run in this tournament and see what they can come up with. It's a really good opportunity for players to push in and show that they're, they're up to the job of the team structures expected of them, whether they're willing to put those extra efforts in. And really, when a player is on form, it doesn't matter what game it is. A player on form who really wants that disc is an asset to the team.
Absolutely.
It's really good to know what you have on your squad. It pulls up from DK. Pick up from Garrett here. Moves the disc across the field. Gainer to Mueller in the middle of the field. It's all open throws here. Stuck there. Good dump defense. Looking for the fake hammer. A little bit of an unconvincing one. Swings it back. Little gainer backwards. Non-gainer backwards. And disc across. We hear the siren. That is time. There is a call in the play. Potentially a pick call, discussing whether it affected the throw. Probably didn't.
A lot of talk from the sideline here by both teams, trying to invigorate their players on the field.
Yeah, both teams on the sideline have realised just how crucial this game is. Gary moves the disc over to Bain. Gary again, straight on force. They've been doing that a couple of times this game. Back to Bain. Force sideline. He's got the open under. Back to Bain in the centre of the field. Around backhand. And Gary just holding that central handle position. Disc's moving across the field quite easily at the moment. The straight on force has been utilised here by Juggernaut. Mueller's looking across, wanting to engage his dump, who realises Bain is on disc. Big flick, aggressive flick. Great shot into the space, making the play for his offensive cutter, saying, I'm putting the disc up here, go get it.
Huge excitement there by Mammoth, pulling ahead 13-12, 1 point up.
I believe that was a score from McGuckin, and that looks like game. Not sure of
Hard cap, I guess.
hard cap. We're playing for our round games here today, so there we go. Evan, final scores of
13-12 to Mammoth here.
Game
so
taken
Mammoth
away.
taking the game by 1. That last point with the siren was possibly more important than some people realised.
So the rematch of the National Championships a couple of years ago here. First game of SMO, we've seen it switched on. Great game with Mammoth just taking it away. Fantastic game after Juggernaut was first up. And we will see you for the next stream in half an hour.
Just a shout out quickly to Yukon Discs. Thank you for their sponsorship here. And this is Evan signing off.